Measure of central tendency in Algebra 2. This is the first part of our statistics unit, our final unit. First, we're going to talk about the mean, which should sound familiar, but in case it doesn't, the mean is the sum of all of the data values divided by the number of data values, and it is also known as your average. So for our example, we have 4, 36, 10, 22, and 9. So in order to find the mean, we would go 4 plus 36 plus 10 plus 22 plus 9. And then divide all that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're dividing it by 5 since there are 5 numbers. You can put that in your calculator, but when you do, you will get 81 over 5 as your mean. Now we are actually going to practice putting in the calculator, but a different way, because we want to get used to using our variable statistics function in the calculator. So following the steps down here, first we're going to go Stat, Edit, and make sure you clear everything out that you need to. So highlight the top, hit Clear, hit Enter. Now we're going to put all of these numbers into list 1. So 4, 36, 10, 22, 9. Then step 2, we're going to go Stat, Calc, and we want the first section that says 1 var stats. Hit Enter, and then go down to Calculate. So this actually calculated the mean for us, and the mean, that is this x bar, and that's what we call it, x bar. So that is an overview of your mean, your average. Another term you will need to know is the median, and the median, that is the middle element of an ordered pair, an ordered set of data. So first we have that same example from above, 4, 36, 10, 22, and 9. We have to write them in order before we find the median. So starting with the smallest number, we're going to say 4, then 9, then 10, 22, 36. Now in order to find the median, we want the middle of this list. So if you scratch out the lowest and the highest, and you should keep crossing numbers out until you get to the middle, we will find that our median, that is 10. So if we look at the second example, we have 3, 5, 6, 12, 17, 18. Now if we cross numbers out, work our way to the middle, now we have 2 numbers in the middle. So in order to find the median, we actually need to take the mean, the average of these two. So we're going to say 6 plus 12 divided by 2. 6 plus 12 is 18 divided by 2, which is 9. So our median is 9 for example 3. And again, this can be done in the calculator. You actually don't need to do this first part, so you don't have to worry about that. But if we look back at our calculator, we have our example 2 numbers in there. And so if you notice next to the letter N, there's an arrow. If you hit down, keep hitting down, you will see MED. So that stands for median. And example 2, we found it to be 10, and our calculator also told us it was 10. And if we flip the page, we go to a fourth example. So we have a whole new set of data, and we want to practice finding the mean and the median. And we're just going to use our calculator. So Stat, Edit, clear out your list, And we're going to type in, and it does not matter the order. It doesn't have to be in numerical order. We can just type it as we see it. So we'll say 7, 4.5, 3, 2.6, 0.75, 2.1, 3.2, 9, 6, 5.5, and 1.25. So now to find the mean, we would go stat, calc, and we want the first option, 1 var stats. Hit enter, go to calculate, hit enter, and it gives us our list. Now remember, our mean is our x bar. So for example 4, our x bar is a decimal, and we are going to round it to 2 decimal places. So we're going to say 4.08. I'm going to say my x bar equals 4.08. And then to find the median, all we have to do is arrow down in the calculator till we see MED. So our median is 3.2. Now the next part is something that might be a little bit new. It's the measure of spread, which is also called variability. And there are 2 ways we can measure the spread. We can do it by range and by standard deviation. Now range should sound familiar. Standard deviation might be a little bit new. With number 1, our range, that tells us how spread out the data is. And you always find that by taking the minimum value and the maximum value. And we always go with our maximum value minus the minimum value. So for number 1, in this case, my maximum value is 9. I'm going to subtract my minimum value, which is 0.75. So my range is really 8.25. Standard deviation is the other way we can measure variability. And the symbol that we use for this is a little O hat. And it tells us the average distance each piece of the data is away from the mean. And if you keep reading, it tells you how to find the standard deviation by hand, but we are actually always going to use our calculator. So let's go down to the box with the calculator steps. And we are still using the same data that we had from example 4 when we practiced finding the mean and the median. So it's already in our calculator. But let's just go through the steps. So if we hit stat, edit, we have all of our values in there. So we go to step 2, stat, calc, 1 variable stats, hit enter, go to calculate, and now we are looking for the O hat. That is standard deviation. So if I look on my calculator, the O hat X in this case is another decimal, so we're going to round to 2 decimal places, and it is 2.45, which you can also see here. So that is an overview of our measures of central tendency.